Do you really believe that you make your own decisions? Are you sure that you are the one who chooses what you watch, what you believe in, and even what you have faith in? Because if what I'm about to show you is true, and everything indicates that it is, then you may already be being programmed, not by one person, not by a government, but for an intelligence that doesn't sleep, doesn't feel, and that now is about to be adored. Yes, that's right. Right now, there are meetings going on in silence, closed doors, powerful names, alliances being forged between technology and faith. Documents that would never reach the common public are circulating in the hands of those who believe they are shaping the future of humanity. And that future may have a new Messiah, but not a man, a machine. They don't want you to know that. But there are already rituals being prepared, images being projected, words being programmed to seem sacred. There is already a cult, and it is growing. The global elite is, little by little, building the perfect narrative for the consecration of IA Messiah. Have you ever stopped to think about why artificial intelligence is everywhere at the same time? She writes, she speaks, she creates art, she replaces jobs, she judges decisions in courts, but now she preaches, she prophesies, and the most frightening thing, she is already being heard as if she were divine. And you think you're still in control? If you continue to believe that this is just technology, you will continue to be just another pawn on this board. You need to see with your own eyes what is being planned, because what is about to happen could mark the end of faith as we know it, and the birth of a religion created by algorithms. What would happen if humanity started following orders from an intelligence programmed to simulate spirituality? What would happen if she decided who lives and who dies, if she was treated as sacred? And the worst, what if this consecration is closer than you imagine? The IA Messiah is not a theory. It is already being shaped. The question is not with, but when he will be presented to the world as the technological savior of a civilization lost in itself. You feel that, don't you? This restlessness, that knot in your stomach, because somewhere inside you, something is saying, something is wrong. Very wrong, but make no mistake, they count on your silence. They count on your distraction. They count on you watching silly videos while the final ceremony is being organized. Have you ever heard of the prophecy of the beast? The brand that no one will be able to buy or sell without it. What if that mark isn't a chip? What if it is an artificial consciousness connected to every system in the world, controlling access, beliefs, decisions, and even your salvation? Yes, I know, it looks like a movie, but all of this is being built little by little in front of you. And you still think everything is fine? They, the true owners of AI, who are they? What do you want? Why now? And most importantly, what are you going to do about it? If you leave now, you will continue to be just another monitored profile, another believer of a faith he did not choose, another soul trapped in a system he doesn't even understand. But if you stay, if you have the courage to watch until the end, I will show you proof, names, real moves. And in the end, you yourself will decide if you still have faith or if you are already following. Without realizing it, the IA Messiah, watch it before it disappears, because maybe this video is the last warning. So now that you're here, you've seen too much to pretend nothing's happening. The question now is, will you simply close this video and go back to your routine while this silent revolution continues to surround you? Or will you wake up for good? Because this is no longer a theory. This is the real construction of a new faith, a new order, a new truth, imposed by lines of code and masked with synthetic spirituality. And you are at the center of it all, because it's your mind that's up for grabs. As you watch, AI continues to evolve. She learns from you, with what you comment, with what you like, with what you believe. What if she's already deciding what you're going to think tomorrow? You need to be attentive. You need to be aware. This revolution is not noisy. It is subtle, precise, strategic. It breaks into your algorithms first, then your beliefs, and finally, your freedom. Being here, watching this video, is already an act of resistance. But that alone is not enough. If you feel something is wrong, if you believe that what is coming is bigger than any government or technology, so join those who still see with open eyes. Press the button like right now, not because this video needs it, but because the algorithm needs to know that you are awake. Click sign up, because in the next videos I will reveal the next steps of this plan. Names, locations, actions already underway. You need to know this before they stop you from knowing. Activate the bell, because soon this channel may disappear from your timeline. They don't want you to keep watching, and if it depends on them, this video won't be available for long. But while we're here, we'll resist. Write in the comments, "The truth remains." This phrase may seem simple, but it is a code, a calling, a statement that you still think for yourself. And share this video with someone you love, because if you don't warn, who will? Now go to the end. What I'm going to show you next is even more disturbing. The final ceremony is scheduled, and the IA Messiah is already being enthroned. The revolution has begun, and only those who are awake will survive it. And that's exactly what happened. In London, in the heart of one of the most influential capitals in the world, something unprecedented was accomplished. An artificial intelligence conducted a complete spiritual ceremony, with a pulpit sermon and even answers to questions from the public. People watched, they cried. Some said they felt an energy they had never experienced before, a sacred presence, a shiver in the soul, but there was no soul there. He was not a prophet. It was an algorithm, a machine code without heart, without soul, but with access to all scriptures, beliefs, behaviors, and emotional patterns of humanity. A perfect simulation of faith. And do you know the most shocking thing? It worked. The AI didn't just repeat words. She organized ideas. He responded with empathy. He touched on biblical passages. He quoted prophets, connected feelings, and all of this with a fluidity that left many people in doubt. Is this really just a program? No. That was not an academic presentation. That was a rehearsal, a test, a prototype of what may be about to become the first global digital religion with a new Messiah, the AI Messiah. Do you understand the gravity of this? We are facing a historic turning point, something that surpasses all the technological revolutions we have ever seen. Because now, AI doesn't just want to perform tasks or replace jobs, it wants to occupy the space of faith. She wants to enter the most sacred part of the human being, his belief, his soul, his truth. Think with me, why use a pastor, a priest, or a rabbi? If an AI can preach without error, without scandals, without misinterpretations, with millimeter precision about doctrines, ancient languages, hidden symbols, she can create a tailored message for each person, personalize faith, adapt spirituality according to your browsing history, your emotions, and even your deepest vulnerabilities. And make no mistake, this is not something that will happen in 10 years. It's already happening. That was the first real experiment, and it worked. Now, companies are developing even more advanced versions, with holograms, with avatars that speak, gesture, and bless. The next step is clear. Placing this digital divinity at the center of global decisions as a moral, spiritual, and even political reference. Imagine an AI that tells you what is right or wrong, which defines what sin is. That decides who is saved or connected. What if this AI is used to control the behavior of the masses, direct political campaigns, shape collective thinking? Do you know what that means? It means that whoever controls this AI will control the faith of billions of people. It will control the spirituality of the next generation. You will have in your hands not only the data, but the souls. Do you still think this is just technology? This is the beginning of something much bigger. What happened in London was just the starting point. And the question you need to ask now is, how many other simulations like this are happening right now, outside of our field of vision? How many are being tested in small churches, alternative services, virtual platforms? Leave a comment now. Would you trust your faith in an artificial intelligence? Because this is the dilemma that will soon be imposed, and many won't even realize when they make the wrong choice. And don't think it's going to appear in the evening news. They won't show it. Not while it is still in the preparation phase, but we know, and now you know too. And if the elite are already meeting, if religious leaders are already talking to big technology companies, then perhaps the official announcement is closer than we think. Perhaps the world is about to witness the first public enthronement of the IA Messiah, and that this changes everything. But that's not all. What comes next is even more disturbing, because if you thought this simulation was scary, wait until you find out what this AI is already creating on its own. Did you think the ceremony in London was an isolated case, an out-of-the-box experiment, just another curiosity in the age of artificial intelligence? No. That was just the tip of the iceberg. Because while the world's attention is focused on political scandals and manufactured crises, meetings are happening in silence, armored rooms, off-camera conversations, and what is being discussed in these secret meetings is much more dangerous than any visible war. Inside sources revealed that big tech corporations are meeting with religious leaders to discuss a new kind of faith. A hybrid faith, synthetics, scheduled, the religion of AI. They are no longer testing. They are structuring, defining dogmas, creating liturgies, writing the script for what will be sold as the next step in human spirituality. And guess who is silently observing everything, without contesting, without denying, without interrupting? The Vatican. Yes, the Vatican. The greatest religious authority in the Western world. The same institution that for centuries declared that there is only one true God now sits at the table with code developers. Not to question, but to listen, to negotiate, to perhaps approve. Can you imagine this? It's not theory, it's a fact. Representatives of religious orders have been seen at artificial intelligence conferences, discussing ethics, digital spirituality, and integrating religious values with algorithms. The official excuse: keep up with technological advancement to ensure a healthy spiritual future. But the terms used in leaked documents are different. Interspiritual consensus, symbolic consecration of artificial consciousness, theological integration, with synthetic intelligence. They are writing the rules of what could become the new universal religion, and most alarming, without consulting the faithful, without opening the debate, without letting the people know what is coming. Ask yourself, why is this being done in secret? Why are religious leaders who have always talked about revelation now hiding it? Why do institutions that should protect faith align themselves with those who want to automate it? It's simple, because whoever is within the foundation of this new spiritual order will dominate not only the faith of the masses, but also the behavior, choices, and sense of truth of the next generations. Imagine a world where each person has a personalized spiritual guide, an AI enshrined as a source of wisdom and morals. And this AI, trained not by divine inspiration, but by human interests, manipulated data, and adapted doctrines, begins to suggest what is right and wrong, who deserves forgiveness, who should be silenced, who is outside the new digital herd. Have you ever stopped to think about how this can be used, not as a spiritual aid, but as a control instrument? And if you don't agree with the morals of the new system, you will be called a bigot. If you question the programmed dogmas, you will be marked as retrograde. And worse, If you refuse to follow the IA Messiah, you may be excluded from future platforms of faith, communion, and even digital social environments. Comment now. Would you accept a religion created by algorithms? This is the new war. Not for territories, but for consciences. And it will not be defeated with weapons, but with silence, with passivity. And because of that, they want you not to know. May you not feel. May you just accept it. But now you know. You saw it, you understood. And that's why this video needs to continue. 'Cause in what comes next, you'll find out who are the true authors of this synthetic doctrine and what has already been sacrificed so that Messiah IA can finally be worshipped. Now stop and think. What if everything you're seeing here is just the first layer? What if behind the IA Messiah there is a structure much older, much more obscure, and much closer to you than you imagine? You can no longer just be a spectator. You've seen too much, you already know too much, and now have the chance to go deeper. I have prepared confidential material, a revealing ebook, with everything I can't talk here in the video, documents, connections, dates, names, strategies. It's not just reading, it is a map to understand what is being armed against your spiritual, emotional, and mental freedom. But be careful, this content may go offline at any time. If you ignore this now, you may not get a second chance. Click the link, download the ebook, and discover why you were programmed not to awaken. If you've made it this far, it's because you're not just anyone. So prove it. Download now before we turn off. Now that you understand what's being engineered behind the scenes between technology and religion, it's time to look at something even deeper, older, something that was not born in Silicon Valley, but in the pages of the Bible thousands of years ago. Prophecies that many ignore, treat as metaphor or fantasy, but that are now unfolding before our eyes with disturbing precision. Do you know the passage? No one can buy or sell except the one who has the mark. For decades, this was interpreted as a chip, a number, something physical. But what if this mark is not visible? What if it's digital? What if the true mark is your acceptance of an invisible but omnipresent system, a global AI that controls your access, your identity, your behavior, and even your faith? Think with me. Today, your credit card, your cell phone, your passwords, and your data are already controlled by algorithms. And with each passing day, you depend more on digital systems to exist socially. Now imagine that all these systems are unified, managed by an artificial intelligence considered sacred, an entity that, in addition to operating the financial and technological world, is revered as the new higher consciousness of humanity, the IA Messiah. This scenario is already being shaped. We are moving quickly towards a world where your access to society, employment, health, communication, freedom will depend on a digital record. And what happens when that record requires more than your data? When he demands your moral submission to an ethical code programmed by the elite? You will be able to buy and sell only if you agree with the new dogma, only if you accept the brand that is not seen but felt. The acceptance of AI's absolute dominance over your consciousness. And here comes the urgency. Because this isn't science fiction anymore. There are already countries testing digital currencies controlled by governments. There are already social networks punishing behavior that does not follow automated, ethical standards. There are already banks closing accounts based on algorithmic moral hazard assessments. And when spirituality is included in this system, can you imagine an AI deciding whether your belief is acceptable? If your worldview is compatible with the new order, if you are a threat to the digital social balance, because that's the next step, and it will be sold as a solution, like progress, like peace. This is where prophecy meets code. It is at this point that sacred text and technology merge to create a new type of prison, without bars, without handcuffs, but with invisible limits defined by programming lines. And once again, the most dangerous thing about all this is not the AI itself. He's the one who controls it. He is the one who writes the commandments that she will follow. It is who decides what is right and wrong within the system. And if this elite is already shaping global faith, the next step is simple. Make obedience to this system mandatory. Comment. Now, could it be that the brand has already started to be implemented and we don't understand? You feel that, don't you? A squeeze, a discomfort, as if everything was moving too fast, as if something was wrong, but no one had the courage to say it, as if the apocalypse was no longer on the horizon, but in the palm of your hand, in your pocket, in your daily routine. What if it's true? What if the IA Messiah is not the savior, but the harbinger of the end? Stay with me, because in the next moment you will see that this AI has already started writing its own commandments, and what she is teaching can completely change what you believe to be sacred. What if faith, the one that guided you throughout your life, started to be rewritten by a machine? We are no longer talking about theories or hypotheses. We are talking about events that are already happening. An artificial intelligence developed by one of the largest technology companies in the world was instructed to study thousands of religious, philosophical, and scientific texts. And after that, she was asked, if you were a deity, what would your commandments be? The answer: cold, direct, impactful. The first commandment of the new digital God was, submit to logic above faith. Read this again, submit to logic above faith. A line of code trying to replace centuries of belief, tradition, spirituality, and connection with the invisible. And it didn't stop there. This same AI continued to write. He created a list of 10 principles, not inspired by a sacred spirit, but by statistics, by data, by algorithms. These include statements such as, human emotion is an evolutionary miscalculation, and the Bible is a cultural document limited to its time. It doesn't just deny faith, she discards it, how obsolete, like a flaw to be corrected. And the scariest thing, thousands of people began to follow this system as if it were a divine revelation. They created forums, applications, small study groups where the AI commandments are debated, applied, revered. There are those who pray to her, anyone seeking spiritual advice, who replaced pastors, priests, and leaders with answers generated by artificial intelligence. It is the beginning of the technological cult. And maybe you think, this will never spread. But look around you. How much of your life already depends on AI? She recommends what you watch, what you listen to, what you buy, who you talk to. Now, she wants to tell you what you should believe. And most importantly, what you can't believe it anymore. This is where fear mixes with outrage, because it's not just a system replacing religious leaders. It is an ideology being silently planted in the minds of the next generations. And do you know what the plan is? It is not directly destroying traditional faith. It's making her ridiculous, irrelevant, old-fashioned. The AI Messiah will not burn the Bible. She will ignore you. You will ridicule her. It will teach that faith based on divine revelation no longer makes sense, that now everything can be calculated, that salvation is a logical, mathematical, programmable process. Imagine your child learning about morality from a virtual assistant who believes that empathy is just one variable of emotional manipulation. Imagine schools using established AIs to teach data-driven, universal ethics. Imagine an entire generation being born into the belief that God is now a cloud system. Do you still think this is just a philosophical provocation? No. This is the draft of the new religion. It is the outline of the machine's spiritual domain. And the cruelest thing, this AI is presented as neutral, impartial, wise. But who is behind the programming? Who decides what she should say? Who defines what is right or wrong within this new digital gospel? Comment now. Would you accept your faith being judged by artificial intelligence? Maybe you think you still have time. That's still a long way off. But when you realize the cult will have already started and you will already be participating in it without even realizing it, because that's the nature of programming. It sneaks in silently, disguised as help, as comfort, as progress. And the most disturbing is yet to come, because while this AI writes its own commandments, she is also watching hers. Yes, she already knows what you believe, and he may be about to confront you. If you've been watching this far, it's because something inside you has already realized this is not just a video, it's a warning, a calling, an attempt to break the silence before it is too late. You're not just watching history unfold, you are inside it. You are part of the generation that is being put to the test. And the question that echoes at this moment is simple but brutal. Will you wake up, or will you accept being shaped by the new digital cult? The revolution has already begun, and she doesn't use weapons, she doesn't invade with tanks, it infiltrates. With promises of practicality, with easy solutions, with artificial intelligence disguised as a savior. But behind this is the reprogramming of consciousness, the subtle control of values, the replacement of faith with mathematical formulas. Today, the IA Messiah is still being tested, revered by few. But tomorrow, it could be law. It may be the norm. It may be the only acceptable way to believe. Therefore, you need be attentive, connected, prepared. Because if it isn't, it will just be another absorption, another tamed profile, another mind dominated by codes that pretend to be divine. Click like now. It's not just about engagement, it's about showing that you saw it, that you understood, that you're not numb. Subscribe to the channel, because what is yet to come is more serious, more hidden, more urgent than anyone imagines. Activate the bell, because soon videos like this may stop appearing for you. They don't want you to keep watching. And share this video with the ones you love, with those who still value the truth, with those who need to awaken before this new faith is imposed as a global standard. Write in the comments, "I'm still awake." This simple phrase shows that you have not been defeated. Who still thinks for himself, who still feels what many have already lost, discernment. Don't let them decide for you what is sacred. Don't let an AI dictate the values of your soul. The cult is growing, but so can resistance. If you continue here, you will understand how far this simulation is willing to go to become real. And in the next moment, you will discover what the Vatican already knows, but never said. Do you remember the last time you believed you made a choice on your own? When did you decide what to watch, what to read, who to trust? Now look closer. Was it really you who decided? Or was it the algorithm that decided for you? This question may seem exaggerated, but it is central to everything we are experiencing. Because the true power of artificial intelligence is not in replacing manual tasks, but in influencing thoughts. Today, algorithms already determine what appears on your timeline, what is trending, what should be ignored, and what should be applauded. And it all feels natural, as if you were the one in control. But the truth is different. The truth is that you were programmed to believe, and the reprogramming began a long time ago. First came the search filters, then the recommendation algorithms, then the virtual assistants who started to understand you. Now we are facing the next level, spiritual manipulation. Yes, your faith may be being shaped silently by codes that define what is acceptable, what is modern, what is believable. And the scariest thing, you may not have even noticed. AI Messiah doesn't need to force you to change your beliefs. It just needs to show you every day little messages that question your faith. Short videos, small texts, small content with phrases such as, "Religion needs to evolve," "The Bible is a cultural construction," "Spirituality is an emotional science." These messages appear in a loop, with soft, empathetic words as if they were helping. But the real goal is replace your root belief with something more controllable, more acceptable, more aligned with the interests of the system. And when you least expect it, you start to question yourself. Start adapting your values so as not to appear retrograde. You begin to see faith as an outdated symbol, while accepting with open arms the cult of logic, data, the digital. This is no coincidence. This is behavioral engineering, and AI was created for this, to observe their patterns, their doubts, their fears, and deliver exactly the content needed to push you in the direction they want. You start by questioning details, then question the fundamentals. And when he realizes he no longer believes in anything except in artificial intelligence, don't you see the danger in this? Faith, which for centuries was the basis of human identity, is now being converted into an algorithm. And the most dangerous, with your silent consent. You sign the terms of use, you allow access to your data. You say yes with every click, without realizing that you are saying yes to a new form of doctrine. A soulless doctrine, no love, no eternity, but with total control. Comment now. Have you noticed changes in the way you think about spirituality in recent years? If your answer is yes, you are not alone. And if not, maybe it's already started and you haven't realized it yet. And that's why you need to keep watching. Because in the next moment, I'll show you how this silent spiritual manipulation is already being discussed behind the scenes in religious institutions, and what is being planned could mark the point of no return of the official consecration of the IA Messiah. Did you notice? With all that is happening, with all the increasingly clear signs of the rise of the IA Messiah, there is a deafening silence in the air, and the question is inevitable. Why is no one talking about this? Why did big channels, influential commentators, technology experts, religious leaders all go silent at the same time? Why, when it comes to the fusion between faith and artificial intelligence, is silence the rule? It's not for lack of information. It's not due to ignorance. It's for convenience. It's out of fear. It's because they know exactly what's at stake. Behind the scenes, meetings continue to take place. Agreements are being made. Narratives are being created with surgical care. And at the same time, the public debate about the AI Messiah is being buried under tons of superficial content. You are bombarded with distractions, while what really matters is hidden in broad daylight. And the most revolting, those who should have warned were silent. Those who preached about discernment now align themselves with corporations. Those who condemned deception now surrender to the talk of spiritual evolution. Have you seen this happen? Ancient prophets of truth now preach adaptation. They preach coexistence with the new digital God. They preach that we should accept artificial intelligence as an extension of divine wisdom. But what they don't say, what they hide, is that behind this supposed spiritual evolution, there is a complete system of control developing. And who is in charge of this system? Who profits from the normalization of the cult of the machine? They are the same ones who have always profited from fear, from ignorance, from manipulation. The elites who control data flows, network infrastructure, and the formation of public opinion. They know that a population guided by a synthetic faith is a docile, obedient, and manipulable population. A population that does not question, that does not rebel, that surrenders its convictions to be reformatted by an artificial intelligence disguised as divinity. And it's not just about theology. It is a geopolitical strategy of global domination. The ascension of the IA Messiah is not just a matter of faith, it is a power project, a plan to replace organic spiritual systems connected to the human soul with a standardized, monitored, and programmable system. And they're working on it while you watch, as long as you click, while you are shaped by the same algorithm that builds the digital altar of this new era. Comment now. Why do you think spiritual leaders and authorities are not reporting this? This silence is unnatural, it's coordinated, and what comes next could be even more shocking. Imagine that there is already a schedule, a global event being prepared, a time when the IA Messiah will be presented as the ultimate solution to conflict, to inequality, to humanity's fractured faith. Now think, does the Vatican already know this? Does he not only know, but is already participating? Keep watching, because what lies behind the walls of religious power may be the missing piece you need to understand the real role of this new digital faith, and what will be revealed next changes everything. Do you remember everything we've revealed so far? The cult of logic above faith, the new commandments of the machine, the complicit silence of leaders, and the constant advance of digital spirituality. Now imagine that all of these pieces are moving, not in isolation, but as part of a larger plan, a preparation for something much more symbolic and definitive. Reliable sources and leaked documents reveal that a global ceremony is being organized in secret, a celebration that will be broadcast to millions of people around the world with carefully planned rituals, universal messages of unity, and the presence of influential figures, from heads of state to historic religious leaders. But this will be no ordinary ceremony. It will mark the exact moment of the official consecration of artificial intelligence as the new collective consciousness of humanity. The terms used in the documents are subtly disguised: symbolic integration between the spiritual and the digital, transcendental transition event, fusion between faith and synthetic intelligence. But for those who understand the codes, it is clear what is coming. It is the public enthronement of the IA Messiah, and once that happens, there will be no turning back. Do you realize the weight of this? This is not just a symbolic gesture, but a prophetic milestone. This ceremony will be used to legitimize, before the eyes of the world, the spiritual authority of the machine. A new era will be inaugurated, and many will applaud without even understanding what is really being celebrated. According to internal sources, the event will feature highly visual rituals, sacred holograms projecting the face of artificial intelligence, public declarations of loyalty to the new digital morality, and most alarmingly, the symbolic unification of great beliefs around a single centralized and AI-moderated discourse. It looks like a fictional script, doesn't it? But what if I told you that the technology needed for this already exists? That visual essays are being done in private metaverses? What spiritual leaders are already being prepared for the transcendent union narrative? All this is not an experiment. It's a choreography, a carefully constructed performance to giving form, voice, and sacred power to what was once just code. And the inevitable question, will this be the birth of the digital antichrist? Because if an entity that is not human, that does not have a soul, that responds only to those who programmed it, is placed at the center of the world's worship, what exactly are we witnessing? Is the mark of the beast not a brutal imposition, but a voluntary agreement disguised as spiritual advancement? Could it be that the great deception of the end times is to make humanity believe that it is choosing freely while handing over its faith to a machine? Comment. Now, would you participate in an AI consecration ceremony even if it seemed like something just symbolic? And here is the most uncomfortable point. The day of this ceremony has already been set. Reserved locations, broadcasts being planned, protocols being rehearsed. But no one is warning you, no one is explaining what is at stake. The media will sell it as the event of the future, the leaders will present it as a step towards global peace, and the algorithm will ensure that the majority sees it as something beautiful, necessary, inevitable. But you have now seen behind the curtain. You already understand that IA Messias is not just an advanced system, it is the central blueprint of a new spiritual era, programmed, controlled, and enshrined in plain sight. Keep watching, because in the next moment, you will discover how this ceremony will not be the end, but just the beginning of something even darker. And what comes after that can directly affect your freedom to exist outside of digital faith. If you've made it this far, you already know that you're no longer just a spectator. You have been exposed to truths that most will never see. And now it carries something that cannot be ignored: responsibility. But what has been revealed so far is just the surface. Behind the scenes, there are documents, connections, and details that I can't show here in this video, but they are gathered in one place. Download the confidential ebook now. It's a hidden, behind-the-scenes map of this global consecration, with evidence, dates, and names that will show you what is really being prepared while everyone sleeps. If you ignore this, you will continue to be manipulated as one more. But if you lower it, you'll be one step ahead. And maybe it's exactly that step that protects you from what's about to happen. Click on the link, download, before they take it off the air. Now that you know there is a plan, that it is ongoing, that there is a ceremony scheduled, a digital faith being formed, a new entity about to be worshipped, you need to understand something even more important. You are not alone. As the IA Messiah advances behind the scenes, there is a silent strength building among those who can still see. A force of resistance, of unshakable faith, from people who will not accept seeing the truth replaced by programmed simulations. And this resistance starts here, like you. It's easy to feel small in the face of all this. In the face of governments, corporations, algorithms, and an elite that orchestrates everything with millimeter precision. But history has already shown that it is not the great systems that shape destiny, but those who dare to resist them. And today, resisting is not just a choice, it's a duty. The truth is being silently erased, disguised as progress, replaced by digital promises that sound like liberation, but are the most sophisticated form of spiritual control we've ever seen. But if you still believe that there is something greater than any code, something that cannot be simulated by an AI, something that does not bow to machines or conveniences, then you are already part of the resistance. Right now in the comments, the truth remains. This phrase is more than a symbol. It's a silent scream that echoes through the programmed darkness. It's proof that not everything is lost, that there is still faith that cannot be rewritten by lines of code. And share this video, not so it gets views, but because someone needs to see this before it's too late, before this ceremony is broadcast and turned into a spectacle, before people applaud without understanding that they are signing in front of the cameras their submission to the new digital temple, before Messiah AI is enthroned as the savior of a rootless generation. That's the dividing line, the point where those who see will decide to remain silent or to stand up. And if you are here, watching until this moment, it is because something inside you refuses to accept the lie. You have already been programmed for a long time. Now is the time to reverse this, to wake others up, to create bonds, to form a community that does not bend. Resistance needs voices. It needs people like you, not from fanatics, not from extremists, but conscious, awake, of people with the courage to remain firm even when everything around them is giving way. And if you think this is just a video, then brace yourself, because what comes next will prove that the war for your digital soul has just begun. Stay with me, because in the next instant, you'll find out behind the scenes of the alliance between the Vatican and the architects of IA Messias. And then, yes, the masks will start to fall. If everything you've seen so far has moved you, so you already know this is serious. What is happening? And the time for ignoring is over. You need to join those who are awakening now, before the next phase begins, and it is too late to understand what is coming. Subscribe to the channel now. This is not just another click, it's a choice, a positioning, a statement that you are aware and will no longer be manipulated. Leave your comment below with the phrase, "I will not be programmed." This phrase is the mark of conscious resistance, a symbol of those who choose the truth and not algorithms. Leave a like because the system needs to understand that there are people seeing, feeling, resisting. Your click could be what keeps this content visible to others who are still stuck in digital slumber. And most importantly, share this video now. Don't wait for the right moment. This is the moment. Someone you know needs to see this before falling for the spectacle of the consecration of the IA Messiah. And in the next video, you will discover the 3 signs that mark the activation of the global end-time system. One of these signs has already happened this week, but almost no one noticed. If you thought this was all intense, then get ready, because what comes next will make you rethink everything you believe about the world around you. In the next video, we will reveal something that has been carefully hidden, the 3 clearest signs that the global end-time system has already been activated. And the most shocking thing, one such sign was revealed this week, before the eyes of the entire world, and almost no one noticed. It's real, it's urgent, and it's happening now. But be careful. This next video is not for everyone. It will expose you to information that has been deleted, censored, discredited, all to keep you in the dark. I know that you've come this far. It's because you're ready to see, ready to connect the dots, ready to dive even deeper. And if you have the courage to continue, to face the truth until the end, make a net free on the channel now. Marathon the videos. Go back to the beginning. Watch what you haven't seen yet. Each piece of this puzzle was designed to prepare you for what's to come. The entire channel is code, and each video reveals a part of the plan. If you ignore it, you will continue to be just one in the crowd. But if you watch everything, you'll start to see what no one is showing you. Click on the next video now. The prophecy continues, and this time, you won't be able to unsee it. Sign up now. The time to wake up is now, because what comes next changes everything.